nonsense. Leave me out of nonsense. Speaking out of context. People need some content.
Welcome to the stream, everybody. The mic's on. The camera's working. The stream is ready. We're ready. We're prepared because I'm never having that happen again. Interesting opening lyrics there, huh? Leave me out the comments. Leave me out the nonsense. People need some content. We'll get to that another time. Just give me 1 second here. Pinky's up. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. We are going to get into Kay's testimony today. We have a lot more to cover. There's a lot of people involved in this trial. And yeah, it's a lot. A lot of people. And we in a stew, baby. We in a stew. We have a lot more people than I feel like than Lori's. A lot more people. So I went through that list. There's a lot of other people we're going to cover. Right now we're going to jump in with Kay, and then tomorrow we have probably Heather Daybell, and I haven't heard her side of things either. So it's going to be very interesting for the next couple of days just to hear some of the key people. What is up, everybody? It's good to see you. We're going to hop right in. Let me know if there's any audio issues. First of all, I want to say hi to everybody and say hi to our mods. Mods, thank you so much for everything you do every day. You guys are amazing. And lastly, I have been spamming you guys about it, but please, if you haven't entered the giveaway, it's for members and for our community. Go follow directions on those. Put your comments in there. We are drawing on the 15th. That is the day it will cut off. We'll do the draw for both. Members will have a live where we draw for them. You guys will have a live for the community, and we'll see who wins. So be excited for that. Other than that, let's get into it. And, we'll be trying to bring any context or anything that we can while we're watching. Love you guys.
Of the other jurors as well as the public. So we do have additional alternate jurors as we continue forward. So at this time, the state's continuing with its case in chief. And if the state has another witness to call, we can do that at this time.
The state would call Kay Woodcock.
All right.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yeah.
Just for anybody who's new to the streams, we have been covering Chad Daybell's 2024 trial. And yesterday we ended off with Brandon Boudreaux, and then we listened to Chad's 911 call about when his wife, Tammy, had been killed. And he pretended that he was hurt and all that other stuff, but it was a very, very short clip. So we ended off there. This is our next one that we're jumping into, is Kay.
All right, Mr. Wood, you can inquire.
Thank you. And before I do, Your Honor, may I be handed States Exhibits 4 and 6? Good morning.
Morning.
Can you state your name and spell it for the record?
Kay Woodcock, Kaywoodcock.
Thank you. And Ms. Woodcock, where do you reside?
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
How long have you lived there?
More or less all my life.
Your Honor, may I publish States Exhibit 4? It's already been admitted.
Yes.
It's the worst moment. It's
Ms.
just the
Woodcock, do
absolute
you
worst moment.
recognize the boy in that picture?
I do. That's
Who is he?
my grandson, JJ Fallow.
Can you tell the jury how you're specifically related to him?
My son and his girlfriend had a baby, and when he was born on May 25th, 2012, he was they called him Kanan Todd Trahan, and they were unable to care for him, and so he came to live with me and Larry, my husband.
Okay, so he's your biological grandson.
Yes.
And you stated that your son and his girlfriend were unable to care for him. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Did JJ spend a significant amount of time? I'm just going to refer to him as JJ if that's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Did he spend any significant amount of time at the hospital when he was born?
He was in the hospital, I think it was 6 to 7 weeks. He was born at 10 weeks premature. So he was like 2.5 pounds. And he was born with drugs in his system. So he had a bit of growing and to getting healthy.
Yeah, he was a warrior. From the very beginning, JJ had to face that immediately in his life. He was born with drugs in his system, 10 weeks premature, was in the ICU. You couldn't touch him because his skin would wither. Like his skin wasn't even complete. And he overcame all of that. You know? This is a very, very strong boy.
And after he left the hospital, where did he first go to live?
He came to live with me and my husband, Larry.
And how long did he live with you?
I think it was 9 months, 8 or 9 months.
Are you related to, or let me rephrase that. Do you know who Charles Vallow is?
Charles was my older brother.
Right. And at the time of JJ's birth, who was Charles married to?
He was married to Lori Vallow.
At any time, did JJ go to live with Charles and Lori?
In February of 2013, Charles and Lori were granted custody. We decided over a while and with a lot of thought that JJ would be better living with Charles and Lori, being raised by them. And they approached us early on and wanted to know if that we would consider them to adopt JJ. And it took a while, but we finally agreed to it, and that we would maintain the role as a grandparent in his life. That was very critical to us.
Also, just want to shut down anybody who thinks that Kay and Larry made the wrong decision. Of course, with people with this whole puzzle pieces now, people think that that was the wrong decision, and we can go back and forth on what ifs. The thing was, at the time, it made a lot of sense because we had a young family and they wanted him, and he was welcomed into our home. And obviously no one on the planet Earth could ever in a million years expected what happened to happen. So I just want to shut down absolutely any thought if somebody has been critical of Kay for that decision or Larry, because they did the best that they could with the situation that they were in. Simple as that. So I think criticizing them for that move is ridiculous, and I've seen that before.
And so when Charles and Lori adopted JJ, was that when his name was changed?
Yes.
And just for the record, what was the actual name his name was changed to?
Joshua Jackson Vallow.
After JJ was adopted by Charles and Lori, did you maintain a relationship with JJ?
Oh, yes, we did.
What was that like?
It was, well, when they lived in Phoenix, I would go, or Larry and I would go every 2 to 3 months. 3 months was really kind of long, but when they first took him, it was a month before we went because we couldn't wait anymore. We were having a real hard time dealing with letting him go.
But did you see him frequently?
Yes, we would, every 2 to 3 months, we would see him.
When, at any time, did Charles and Lori move to Hawaii?
Yes, they did in the end of July of 2014.
Were you able to keep contact with JJ while Charles and Lori lived in Hawaii?
Oh, yes. The difference between Phoenix and Hawaii was then when I would go to Hawaii or Larry would come with me, we would stay for longer, 7, 10 days, sometimes a little longer, to be able to spend time with them.
First of all, that's a trek and a half, guys. I mean, we're literally talking from Louisiana, which is damn near, is right next to Florida, to past California, over the sea to Hawaii. I mean, if you make that trip, if any of you guys have ever made that trip, it's a long day. When I was in college, I lived in Kansas, and I flew home to Hawaii at that time for Christmas, and I had to go on the cheapest flight that they had. So I went from Kansas to Minnesota to LA to Hawaii, and it was like a 16-hour ordeal. It's a very, very long flight.
What was your relationship like with Charles and Lori?
Charles and I were very close. I mean, he was, he would, what's the word? The proud dad. He would send pictures and videos of JJ all the time, and we were very close. We were close even before JJ, but anyway, I guess we got closer. But Lori seemed to be a wonderful person.
Well, and I was, not to interrupt you, I
Yeah.
apologize, but I was going to ask, did you have, when you visited with JJ and his family, did you have occasion to observe him with his parents, Charles and Lori?
Yes. Oh, yes. They were very doting, loving. They really got into, they read a lot about his autism and how to handle him with, with meltdowns and all the little things that they need that are not typical of a child with no disabilities.
And I've asked if you visited with JJ, but when you did that, were you visiting with Charles and Lori and their whole family?
Yes, we would, but I mean, it was, as a grandparent, if you have your grandchild and mom and dad are there, you don't get the child's full attention. So we would, Charles and Lori would often leave and go away for a day or two, just so Larry and I could have him to ourselves. And same thing, I guess, with Tylee and Colby, because they would also be, they would just kind of scatter when we came to visit. So I don't know where Colby and Tylee were, but I know that Charles and Lori would take some time and go and give us some quality time with JJ.
So it depends on when. I mean, that's not wrong. I remember being there obviously with them a lot. When they came to Hawaii, I was in and out of the house back and forth, moving around from the age of 17. So by the time I was 17, which is right around when they got JJ, I started leaving, and then I'd move back. I've told you guys this before, and it's a little bit in my book, but I started kind of moving around a lot, trying to figure out my own life and path. And so sometimes I was there when Kay and Larry came, or I just knew that they were there. But in Hawaii, it was very different because when you come out there, you're there for a long time. I was only in Hawaii for a little bit, that I went on my LDS mission and came back and moved again very quickly. So, and then after that, I came back for a little bit and then went to Kansas. And then I never moved back in with my parents. Well, actually, that's a lie. I came back after school for like 6 months while I was dating Kelsey, and then we moved out permanently. So, but I did see Kay when she would come, and my favorite thing is that Kay is an amazing cook, and she'd make the Cajun cuisine, and she makes the best, what's it called? Egg salad, and gumbo, and she would make all kinds of stuff. She made the best garlic bread ever. And so when she would come, she was so sweet. She'd like throw together food for everyone, and we'd have it in like a giant Tupperware and stuff, and just eat it for days on end, because she'd come and we'd be so excited. And so it was always exciting when they came. But yeah, I wasn't always there when I mean, I wasn't even always living there when they came to visit.
Were there times though that did you spend time with their family as a whole as well?
Yes, I did.
We all had freaking Christmas. I think maybe Christmas and Thanksgiving, but I know for a fact Thanksgiving with Kay, we all went to Kauai Beach, which is where Lori was found by Nate Eaton and the police staying. I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, we had holidays and family events multiple times at Kauai Beach. Like, that was a very central place for our family to go visit. And yeah, Lori just completely defecated on that.
Do you recognize this individual?
I do.
And who is that?
Tylee Ryan.
From your knowledge, who was Tylee's mother?
Lori Vallow.
And you mentioned Colby. Have you met Colby Ryan?
Yes.
And did you meet him when Charles was married to Lori?
Yes.
Did you ever have occasion to meet Alex Cox?
Yes.
Did you spend much time with him?
Not really. I mean, in passing a handful of times, I guess, but never really sat down and had a conversation with him of any substance.
When approximately did Charles and Lori move back to Arizona from Hawaii?
That was at the very end of December of 2016. And they just, I don't know, they moved back.
Okay. And did you continue visiting with their family and JJ after they moved back?
Yes, at least then I could go more frequently.
All right.
Yeah, so that was
I wanna
crazy.
call
So,
your
oops.
attention to
Shh.
the year.
So when they moved back from Hawaii is a big deal because obviously I was in Kansas, and then when they moved back to Arizona, I kind of played Kelsey a little bit, and she reached out to me on Instagram, and I had been home babysitting JJ with Tylee, but mostly just me because Tylee had to go to school, and so I would go back home and babysit him right after the season was done, and then I ended up moving back because my plan was to go to school for all 4 years and play basketball. That was my plan. But I met Kelsey, which I'd already known her, but we had started talking, and then I had to play her and say, yeah, we live in Chandler, which my family lived in Chandler, but I still had to go finish school for the year. So I'm back to Kansas. We talked for, I think, maybe 2 months. And then I came home eventually, and we went on our first date, and I kissed her, and she fell in love. So I had to marry her. And so, yeah, that's kind of how that went. But back to the point, when they moved back to Arizona, it was a big deal because it's really hard to get to Hawaii for anybody. Nobody can really just visit. Like, you need to plan that out for a while to get to Hawaii and come see them. So when they moved back, it was a big deal because everybody had been missing them, and they'd been there for a few years.
For 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see JJ in January of 2019?
I believe it was like February 1st. Lori and Charles had separated at the very end of January, and I flew out to Arizona when Charles told me that Lori left, and to help him with JJ because he was very distraught.
Were you aware of where Lori had gone?
No, nobody knew where she was, or nobody that would tell Charles where she was.
Yeah, it was a short list of
And-
people must have known. Like, she literally didn't tell me, and she left. So she took Tylee, left. Everybody thought she was going to go get JJ. Like, nobody knew what was going on.
During the period when, in early 2019, when Lori was gone, did you have any occasion to watch JJ or take him?
Yes,
Do you recall approximately when that was?
there were many occasions in that, like in February and March. I would sometimes bring JJ home with me to Louisiana, or if Charles was working, I would stay with him in Houston or Chandler where they were living. I was there to help him take care of him.
At any time in 2019, are you aware if Charles Vallow moved from the Phoenix area?
Yes, towards the end of March, I helped him pack up his house in Chandler or Gilbert, I don't remember. And we moved him to Houston so he would be closer to us.
Okay, so you said closer to us. At the time, did you live in Lake Charles?
Yes,
And how far is Lake Charles from Houston?
it's 150 miles. It's a 2.5 hour drive, straight down I-10.
And during the time that Charles was staying in Houston, did you help with JJ?
Yes, again, when Charles would work, he would be gone a few days, mostly like 3 days, and I would go and take care of JJ, and we would have a good time. That was some very good times.
At some point, though, I don't know what was going on, but there was something really weird where JJ broke his leg playing at the park in I don't even know when. I don't remember the time. But I remember getting a picture, I think from Tylee, where JJ had a cast because he said he was playing at the park and he fell or something like that. But I remember being really upset because I hadn't seen him in a long time. And when they got back, I don't think I saw him more. I couldn't say more than a few times until they moved to Rexburg. Like I can't. I remember one distinct time me and Kelsey were there, and we met them at like Dave and Buster's, and Kelsey. I think Kelsey had just had Riley. So yeah, Riley was really, really, really little, and yeah, I mean that's like it's so vivid because it was one of the last times we ever saw them as a group. No, she couldn't have had Riley. I don't know. It's like I'll tell you, I have a pretty good memory, but 2019, like those few months are super hard to remember because of all the trauma. Seriously, I just talked to my therapist about that today. Like there's something about that time that just so intense for such a short amount of time. It's really hard to like remember details.
At any time in 2019, did Lori Vallow come to Houston that you're aware of?
Yes, it was around mid-April of 2019.
And you had talked about Charles and Lori separating. Are you aware if there were any attempts at reconciliation?
I know Charles really wanted a reconciliation. Everything I heard from Lori about Lori, she was not at all interested in it. I believe at that time she came back to, it was her motivation was to get some
Judge,
more.
I'm going to object. Calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Let's talk about Charles for a minute. What did Charles do for a living?
He was a financial planner. He mostly sold annuities.
Were you involved at all in Charles's business?
Yes, Larry and I owned a business, and I guess because of that background, Charles was comfortable in asking me to help him with his business, and I would do accounts payable, receivable, payroll, do Excel spreadsheets, things like that.
In helping Charles, did he ever give you access to any of his online accounts, like emails?
Yes, I had access to that. Yes.
So you stated that in around mid-April, Lori came back to Houston.
Just want to say that hi to everybody who's just popping in. Yeah, just want to say hi to you guys. Good to see you.
Did you continue to see JJ at that time?
After she came back, yes, there was a couple of weeks where we didn't see him, but that was in April. And then in May, Lori started leaving Houston again, and she would start traveling again. And Charles would come on the weekends and bring JJ, and so we could visit with him.
This woman, damn it.
You said that
this woman had nowhere to go. Like she had nowhere to be. Charles was traveling for business. Lori was traveling to cheat. Lori, see, that's the thing that's so hard to accept is the fact that it was all so meticulous and so thought out and planned out. It's just still hard to accept. And yeah, every time I think about her being in Houston and all the reconciliation and knowing Charles was on it, like wanted that because it's his wife and everything he had to go through in that situation. I mean, it's really hard to think about.
You said that Lori started leaving. Are you aware if she made living arrangements back in the Phoenix area?
In June, yes, she did. Charles rented her a house in Chandler.
At that time, do you know if Charles expected to reconcile, or do you know if he expected to divorce?
No, he was headed for divorce because he was actually the day he was murdered on July 11th, he had made arrangements to meet with a friend who was going to show him a house to lease not far from Lori's.
Wow.
And you just mentioned.
So he was moving back from Houston in the same year. So he had just left, went to Houston, and then was going to get divorced and then split custody with JJ. That's freaking insane.
He died on July 11th, 2019.
Yes.
And are you aware of how he died?
2 gunshot wounds to the chest.
Are you aware if Charles Vallow had a life insurance policy?
Yes.
Did you ever have occasion to speak with him about that policy?
I'm gonna say something that's probably hard to hear, so if you guys are sensitive to sensitive things, warning before I tell you. One of the hardest, but I don't know how to explain this to you guys. I haven't seen anybody after they passed away, right? I never even saw their bodies. Like, there was no closure. And in Arizona, the day I went, I found out, like, as I got there, that it was the day they were going to go over the medical stuff. And I remember having like a split second of just wanting to run. And I didn't want to see that Charles like that. And I averted my eyes a lot. But I will tell you, there was one picture of him where he was gone, and it was just basically just his head, and his eyes were closed, and he just looked so peaceful, and he looked just beautiful. I don't know how to even explain that to you, but he looked so peaceful, and it was like the worst kind of closure ever. But something about seeing it like was just an acceptance moment of this like whole circus. But yeah, it was so hard. But at the same time, that one picture was peaceful, and it was just like full acceptance. Like, I know he's gone, and that's him, and he just was like glowing. It was so weird. He just looked beautiful and peaceful. And so I've never seen anybody else gone. And yeah, so I just that whole thing happening now and going back and listening to this makes it a lot more real, because I had never, like, this trial didn't even exist when this happened, right? But yeah, I mean, sometimes the best closure you could get is facing the nightmare that you think it's going to be. So sometimes you just face that stuff head on.
We did in February of 19. He said that
Judge, I'm going to object. It's hearsay.
Sustain.
All right. Did you ever have a conversation with Charles Vallow about you being the beneficiary on his life insurance policy?
yes,
Did you make any commitments to him about what you would do with that money if you were to receive it?
yes,
What commitments did you make to Charles Vallow?
he had $1 million life insurance policy, and because of Lori acting the way she was acting,
Judge, I'm going to object at this point. It's
Okay.
non-responsive.
Shut up. Let her talk.
What commitment did
the
you make to
commitment
Charles?
I made was to give each of Charles's 2 adult sons each $250,000 out of the million, which I did do in January of 2020. And then Charles said the other 50% was for me and Larry, because we were going to end up raising JJ if anything happened to him. That was the conversation, a very short conversation. I never knew if he followed through and changed it.
So that was the only conversation you had with him.
Yes,
And was it your impression that Charles believed if something happened to him, you would end up with JJ?
yes,
Do you know, you stated that was the only time you spoke with him. Are you aware if you were in fact listed as the beneficiary on that life insurance policy?
no, we never spoke about it again. I never asked about it, and I didn't know until the insurance company called after his murder.
Okay, so
That's insane. It's a lot of pressure. And on top of that, I want to know, because like when I watched the Netflix documentary that I'm in, I was thinking, one of the things he's saying is that she's threatening him. She's telling him she's going to unalive him. Lori is telling Charles and all these things. And so like, it's just really crazy, like what that mentality must have been. But even if someone tells you that, especially like your spouse, it's so out of the realm of like possibility. So the fact that he switched it, I'm just grateful he did. I'm grateful he switched it from her. She obviously did not. It's not even close to the word deserve. I'm just so grateful that he had the presence of mind to do that, because they literally took his life for his money. That's it. Like they're cold-hearted bastards, all of them. But that's really crazy to be thinking that way, you know. I always have always wondered what he was going through, you know.
Were you contacted by the insurance company?
Yes,
And were you then informed that you were indeed the life insurance beneficiary?
yes,
Right. And did you receive that money?
yes, months later.
Did Lori Vallow ever contact you about that life insurance policy?
All she ever did was send me a text one day. It was towards the end of July of 19 that she found the change of beneficiary form to me, and I can't recall exactly the comment, but it was something to the effect of, is this why you want JJ? Something like, I've got 5 kids and no money, and you get everything. So yeah.
First of all, that's so I'm going to use my F word today. No. That is so fucking stupid. And there's a reason why. First of all, Cole and Zach haven't ever lived at the house, and they're adults. I'm an adult, not in the house. Tylee was getting her own money. So the only reason you're pissed off is because you didn't get it, because you went through the trouble of taking his life so you could get his life insurance. And then when you didn't get it, now it's 5 kids, right? That's when you got upset, is when it just wasn't coming to you because of all the effort you put in to take his life.
That was all.
Okay.
That was it.
I want to switch back to talking about JJ. Do you recall the last time you saw JJ Vallow in person?
Yes.
When was that?
It was the weekend of May 17th in 2019. Yeah.
Where did you see him?
He and Charles came to Lake Charles for the weekend. And his birthday was May 25th. We had a birthday party for him a little, like a week early. We had it at a pizza place and had friends and cousins all come and gave him his happy 7th birthday. The last birthday we'd ever have with him.
After the last time you saw him in person, did you ever have any type of telephone or digital contact with JJ?
Yes,
Do you recall when that was?
the last time we saw him was on a FaceTime, August 10th of 2019. After Charles's murder, we had a very hard time trying to contact with him. Lori was very evasive and oftentimes wouldn't respond to requests.
Okay. So you said the last contact you had with him was August 10th. Do you recall if in between the last time you saw JJ, which I believe you said was May 17th and August 10th, did you have any other digital contact with JJ that you recall?
Yes, we had from the time Charles was murdered to that August 10th date. That was a 1-month time frame, and only 2 times we were able to see him on FaceTime. She was limiting everything. Any contact with us, she was limiting it.
Okay. And then, as you said, the last time you talked to him was August 10th.
Yes.
Right. After August 10th, did you attempt to have contact with JJ?
Yes.
How did you do that?
Lori, I would email her, text her, leave voicemails, call her. She would never respond. Not one time did she respond.
Did you attempt to arrange with Lori for JJ to attend Charles Vallow's funeral services?
Yes, his services were like August the 4th of 19, and I had arranged with Lori that I would fly to Phoenix and pick up JJ and bring him back to Louisiana, and he was going to stay with us for the week, and then I would take him back to Phoenix, and then I would return home. And we bought the tickets. I mean, we were all set and ready to go. And then I guess after she found out about the insurance, it was a day or 2 later, she said that they were too busy, that they were moving to Hawaii, and that it would be too much for JJ. So she backed out on the deal.
So he was not able to attend his father's funeral.
No.
At any time in 2019, did you become concerned about the whereabouts of JJ Vallow?
Absolutely. I mean, the minute we found out that of Charles's murder that we were extremely worried that evening that we found out. Excuse me. On the 12th, we didn't know about his death until the 12th because, and the only reason we knew is because Lori contacted Charles's two sons. She texted them to tell them their dad was dead. And then she wouldn't answer her phone. So Charles's oldest son, Cole, reached out to me and asked, what is going on? Lori said, Dad's dead. And I said, no, that can't be right. This is a joke or something. Because he was healthy as a horse. And sure enough, my husband, for some reason, he Googled Charles's name and
Okay.
read that he was killed the day before.
And so, and then you've testified that.
Yeah. And again, Lori with the, oh, he died. Oh, he's dead. He passed away. You know, she was telling people that this was the hard part, right? When we dug up a lot of this other stuff, Lori had told people her daughter had passed away. She told people her husband had died multiple different ways, telling people he had a heart attack, telling other people that didn't Chad and Lori have an occasion where they said that something had happened where they basically said that there was death in their family in different ways and reasoning and, you know, acting like she had lost things and people probably saying they're sorry to her and her taking condolences. I mean, she's a complete psychopath. Seriously.
Very limited contact with JJ after Charles's death.
Yes.
And then, so after Charles's death, was it partly because of that limited contact that you became concerned about JJ's whereabouts?
Absolutely. We were working with detectives in Chandler, so we had to keep a real low profile.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, did you ever contact law enforcement about JJ's whereabouts?
Absolutely. I mean, that was once we knew Charles was dead, we knew he was in trouble because Lori didn't want JJ anymore. She didn't want Tylee anymore. She didn't want Charles anymore. She was done.
Do you recall which specific law enforcement you reached out to or that you first expressed concerns about JJ's whereabouts to?
To a detective at Chandler Police Department.
Right. And do you recall who that was?
Detective Nate Moffett.
Right. After your last FaceTime with JJ, which I believe you said was August 10th,
Yes.
did you speak with law enforcement again about JJ's well-being?
I don't believe there was a time when I was in contact with them via phone, because we talked often, that I wasn't expressing my concern about where JJ is.
Did you take any steps beyond law enforcement to locate JJ?
Yes. After Brandon's attempted murder, Brandon and I started talking, and because he hired a private investigator to try and find out where his wife Melanie was, or I think that was the situation. And because what we had going on with Charles and all that in our life, Brandon and I split the cost of the private investigator because investigating one case, he was kind of investigating the other.
All right.
And so this is what I wanted to say yesterday, and it kind of gives you guys a little more context. This is all going on in October. So they get together and they're putting pieces together completely differently, right? And I'm looking at everybody else. Like me and Kelsey are still so like zoomed out, right? And I had a phone call with Lori one time where I really confronted her. I don't remember what month this was, but very, very soon after trying to get in contact with Tylee, we had a conversation. I went off on her. I cussed that woman out and I said, this is all weird. Tylee won't answer me. She's told me she's busy. Like basically what happened was she tried to put a bunch of my doubts away. But one of the things that she said that was really interesting to me that I catch on to now and latch onto now, but didn't in the moment. She's like, it doesn't sound like this is you. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is me. I'm asking you what's going on with Tylee. Is she mad at me? Like, why won't she answer my phone calls? What is happening with her? What is going on? And her biggest thing is that she felt like she said that she was scared of people who are after her and this and that. And I just thought she was nuts. But I thought maybe Tylee was upset and didn't want to talk to me because she'd been through so much. And so I was like, maybe she's taking, that time to herself. Maybe she just needs a break from everybody. And, same thing with JJ. Like, why can't I just get in contact? And she's like, well, I had to take Tylee's phone and then give it back. Like, Lori's just a liar. But I was also really passive with Lori. Even when I was angry, I'd get really angry. I'd boil over like a volcano, explode, and then immediately regret my explosion. And so try to like patch that over in a sense of like, okay, no, you're right. Like you're a good mom. Like I'd always just submit to her. And it's really sad because I grew up learning how to do that. And it's not uncommon. A lot of people probably deal with this when you have a narcissistic parent. And when you've been through so much narcissistic abuse, you learn to fight always or bend down to the knee and allow, thing to be run over. So unfortunately, I did not push again on that. And that was because I was just non-confrontational with her after I confronted her one time. And then even I spent that time with her when she was in jail trying to figure out what's going on. Like I was still just submissive to her, and it's really unfortunate, but I forgot what my other point was, but anyway, I just want to kind of bring that context. But it's just crazy to think about how like Kay and Larry and Brandon were in a completely different place, what they were thinking, what they were doing. Like I told you, I don't remember when I found out about Brandon being shot at, but I don't think it was in 2019. I think it was either the very end of 2019, I think more into 2020. Actually, it could have been when we went up to Lori's first trial ever in Idaho. I swear that's when I found out. But maybe Kelsey remembers that time a little bit more than I do.
So based on what you just said,
Mhm.
for clarity of the record, you were in contact with Brandon Boudreaux.
Yes,
All right. And you hired the same private investigator.
yes.
Were you ever, did you ever become aware of where Lori Vallow was in the fall of 2019?
Yeah, she was in Rexburg,
Judge, I'm
Idaho.
going to object some foundation.
At any time,
Kelsey says 2019. Yeah, like December. Maybe that's when it was. And it was really crazy because I don't even know. And I don't remember when we found out about Tammy either. Like, I don't think you understand how it felt like those dominoes, but the domino that hits next is bigger. So it started with calling Lori and the police coming to my door. Then I call her and she dismisses me. Then the next day her phone's disconnected. Not just turned off, not to voicemail, literally disconnected from the service. Like turned off. You can't reach that line. You can't text. It's gone. And then a month later, finding out Alex is gone, finding out about Chad, finding out about Lori, finding out that they're out of town, finding out about Rexburg. Then it turned into everybody, and it turned into this whole media circuit started. And then it's like everyone's calling you going, well, we're going to help find your what's it called? And we're going to find out, where your family is. And we're going to find out everything about this. And you go on these TV shows and they're like, oh, we care about your family and we care about your finding your siblings and all this stuff. But that wasn't happening. They did not care. So that was really, 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 really unfortunate. And yeah. Yeah, some people are saying you can't hear me, and some people saying you are. My mic is on, just so you know. So just refresh the page. But yeah, it was a really, really hard thing because once the media got involved and then it became this huge thing, it just got worse. It got harder.
I'm in November of 2019. Was JJ Vallow ever with you?
No,
We spoke earlier about Charles's online accounts. Did you have access to his business bank accounts?
yes,
Did you have access to his emails?
yes,
And did you have access to his passwords to look into those accounts?
yes,
Was there ever a time in November of 2019 that you looked at
Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know why I'm cutting out. It could be the Wi-Fi. It could have been something else, but my system is showing that my mic is normal and other people are hearing me. So just if it's not working for you, just refresh.
Charles Vallow's Gmail account?
Yes, it was
When was that?
November the 8th.
Okay. And tell us about that. Why did you look at that account?
I was trying to hook up his printer to my computer and I was having trouble with it the night before, so I left it alone. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning with a compulsion to go finish hooking up that computer to my computer to his printer. And anyway, long story short, his I noticed his Gmail account was open on the screen and it was a login page, and I had never really logged into his email before, and so I did the first. I knew he had 3 favorite passwords, so the first password I used worked, and one of the emails that came up was from Amazon.
Yeah, well, let me stop you real quick. So
Okay.
just for clarity of the record, this was on November 8th of 2019.
Yes.
Did you see anything of interest to you in that Gmail account?
Yes, there was email from Amazon about a delivery.
All right. And did you look at that email?
Yes, I did, and I looked at the delivery address, and I've got it was a apartment on Pioneer Road in Rexburg, Idaho, with the apartment number.
So she was using Charles's freaking Amazon Prime account to order her stuff for their wedding. And it's absolutely insane. That's absolutely insane because she didn't want to pay for a new Prime, right? She wanted to use Charles's and then just charge everything to Charles's account. Makes 0 sense. And I'm glad she's that stupid. I truly am glad that she's that dumb.
Call the apartment number.
175.
Okay. This email you looked at, you said it was from Amazon. Were you able to ascertain by looking at that email whose Amazon account was being used?
It was Charles's email, Charles's Amazon account.
And when you opened that email, were you able to look at Charles's Amazon account?
Yes. When I found that, I was in contact with, well, number one with Brandon, and then with our private investigator, and he walked me through how I could get into the Amazon browsing history. Well, first I could see what was purchased, and then I dug a little deeper into the Amazon browsing history.
All right. And was there anything of interest to you?
I told you guys this last time we heard Kay testify to this, I think in the 23. It could have been just the recent one because obviously we had a trial now for Charles. But whenever we talked about this, I just 100% think that God did that because, number one, I'm so glad that Lori's that stupid. I am so glad. Her, Alex, and Chad are absolute morons, and it's the best thing ever because it solved a lot of parts of the case, right? But long story short, that whole moment of her having that feeling to go and get that printer done and go on the computer and type in those passwords really, really, I don't think came out of nowhere. I truly do believe that was God.
That you saw with your own eyes on that Amazon browsing history.
Yes, it was.
What did you see?
Jaw dropping. I saw a search for malachite wedding rings. There was one purchased actually for $35 or $36.99. I saw searches for.
Damn, you guys can't afford more than a $37 freaking ring for each other? Man, you guys do not love each other.
Women's beach wedding dresses. I saw that she looked at or maybe purchased 2, I don't remember. A yellow bikini, not a bikini, a yellow one-piece bathing suit. And another search was men's beach clothes, men's for like linen beach clothes. And a size large is what she was looking at. And it was a white shirt and white pants that like you would wear on a beach, linen type clothes.
so they could go get married. On her, I just want to put this in context, not to sound cold by any means, but just so we're on the same page, from her recently murdered husband's Amazon. That way she could have his money probably pay for the Prime membership until it ran out, or whatever the case was that she was doing. Looking for her next wedding stuff on his Prime. And that alone would be just the most diabolical thing, but it's not even that bad compared to everything that's happened in this case. So,
And that
Do you
search,
recall what date that search was performed?
that search was performed, I was just about to say that, October the 2nd of 2019. I read that November the 8th, but the search was actually done on October 2nd, 2019.
Tammy's not even gone yet. And Brandon had been shot at. That day is when they were trying to get rings and trying to get beach clothes so that way they could go get married. And you know what? I thought about this a lot. If Alex wasn't there, they probably wouldn't have been able to pull this whole thing off. Because none of them would have probably really wanted to do it. So it must have, I mean, without Alex, a lot of this goes away. A lot of it.
And that was that was before Tammy's death.
All right.
She said crap.
What?
One thing you need to know about Kay, and you guys know this from just listening, but she's too real. She's just so real, and she's herself. And so when she talks, I love it because it's just her authentic self. It's funny. But yeah, Tammy was murdered. I guess we're not supposed to say that yet, but I guess because of the jury. But
How did those items catch your attention?
Because I know that Tammy passed away October the 19th, and Lori was obviously involved with Chad Daybell, and it was just mind blowing that they were looking at wedding rings before
Judge, I'm going to
Tammy's
object.
death.
Judge, I'm going to object. Calls for speculation.
Sustained.
I'll move on. At any time did you become aware let me rephrase that. In 2019, at any time did you become aware that the Rexburg Police Department was looking for JJ Vallow?
Yes,
Do you remember who told you that?
I was probably our detective from Arizona, probably Nate Moffett, I believe. I'm not exactly
Okay.
sure.
That's okay, but you did become aware they were searching.
Yes, finally.
Did you ever go to Rexburg after that?
I did. My husband and I went up on the first week or so of January of 2020. We came to Rexburg. We went to Rexburg.
Okay. Did you put out a reward for information on JJ?
We did. We put out a reward looking for him because Lori or Chad would not answer questions regarding the JJ and Tylee missing.
Did you meet with the Rexburg Police?
Yes, we did.
At any time in the year 2020 were you made aware that the bodies of JJ and Tylee Ryan were found?
Yes.
Right. And do you recall when that was?
June 9th, 2020.
Right. Your Honor, at this time I don't have any further questions for this witness.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wood.
that was, yeah, that day you can hear it just rings. I still feel that day every time it's even coming close to it. It's just one of those days you just never forget. I don't want to hear Pryor cross her. I hope she destroys him. We can't even be respectful. He's such a, keep it to yourself. I'm not gonna go at people. Frick dis.
Cross-examination, Mr. Pryor.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, before we start, I'm going to move for admission of Exhibit 32, Defense Exhibit 32. It's been a stipulated exhibit by the parties.
If he brings up fucking Melanie Gibb, I might turn it off. I might.
All right. Let me.
If the state could just inquire as to what that exhibit is.
What is the exhibit, Mr. Pryor?
It's beneficiary information.
We have no objection to that.
Okay, on states, or I'm sorry, Defense Exhibit 32's admitted.
And Judge, could I return to my desk to get my laptop? I failed to bring my laptop with the court's permission.
Yes, of course.
You failed to bring your laptop. You have one job. That's got to be a big part of your job is to bring your laptop. Oh, he meant from the table. Sorry, never mind.
Just a minute.
You see how averting of the eyes chat is? It's really blurry today, by the way. Some days it's not as bad.
So this is 32. She's noting also the
Quality
court clerk, there's a
360.
32A
Gosh,
through F
dang
separate,
it.
But we're just on 32, correct?
No, Judge, 32A through F as well as 32 was stipulated by the parties.
Okay, so you want 32A through F also admitted?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Does the state have any objection to the 32A through F in addition to 32?
No.
All right, 32 and 32A through F are all admitted.
And if I could have 32 back at some point, Mr. Bailiff. Thank you.
Yeah, guys.
Good morning, Ms.
If
Woodcock.
you have any audio issues, it's not us this time. It's actually probably YouTube. So just jump out, hop right back in, just refresh.
Morning.
If you could go through with me the history that you went through with Mr. Wood regarding the living arrangements of Charles and Lori, I would appreciate it. And they got married when?
March of 2006. February of 2006, sorry.
It's okay. And then at that time they were living where?
In Chandler or in the Phoenix area.
No. In 2006, we were living in Texas. We were living outside of Austin, Texas. We didn't move to Arizona until like 2009, something like that.
Which suburb?
And how long did they live there? Do you recall?
From 2006 until they moved in 2014.
And
No.
when?
So we met, my mom and I entirely lived by ourselves, probably about 20-30 minutes away from where Charles lived. And he had a house over there with his sons, obviously. And then they dated and they broke up for a little bit. Then they got married. And then we were there for probably 6th and 7th grade for me. By the end of 7th grade for me, we moved in the summer, before the summer started, to Arizona. And then we were here for the majority of the time until from like 2009 to, like 14. And then they moved to Hawaii.
In 2014, did they move into where?
The end of July 2014 to Princeville, Hawaii, on the island of Kauai.
And how long did they live in Hawaii?
Until just call it the end of 2016, like
Beginning
they moved during the
it was the beginning of
Christmas
2017. So it was literally like January, February.
holiday,
Okay.
obviously.
And then they moved back where?
To Chandler,
So first part of 2017 back to Chandler.
yes,
And how long did they live there?
until Charles's, well, I don't know, until Charles moved to Houston at the end of March of 2019, and he was living in Houston. She was living in Arizona, in Chandler, or wherever. Okay. It's kind of confusing.
It's okay.
Because she was gone for over 2 months.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to get at. And you figured out where I'm trying to clarify a little bit. They moved back to the Chandler area in around 2017. Is that correct?
Yes,
And they lived there until Charles chose to move back to Houston. Is that fair?
yes.
And when did Charles move back to Houston?
The end of March of 2019.
So from 2017 to March of 2019, they lived in Chandler. And then in March of 2019, Charles moved to Houston. Is that correct?
Yes,
Now, you mentioned it earlier about Lori Vallow being gone for 2 months, and I think you mentioned the words Hawaii. Did you later learn that Lori Vallow in early 2019, spent 60 days in Hawaii?
I know that I've learned through court testimonies and stuff that she made several trips to Hawaii during the about the 70 days she was not talking to JJ.
Right. And that's where I'm going next, is that in around February of 2019, Lori Vallow left JJ with Charles. Is that correct? First part of February of 2019?
Did she leave JJ with Charles? I don't know how that went down exactly,
Okay.
but he had JJ. He had physical custody.
Right. Regardless of how it ended up, JJ was with Charles around the 1st of February until well into almost the first part of April. Is that correct?
Yes.
And at that point, you touched on it a little bit, but do you have any specific information that Lori Vallow was living for 2 months in Hawaii?
No, all I know is that she was back and forth to Hawaii. She wasn't living there.
And did you know the whereabouts of Tylee during this time?
I've learned later that she made a couple of trips to Hawaii with her mom, but I don't know where Tylee was.
And you don't know who Tylee was staying with?
She was staying with Alex, and then I don't know. She stayed with her friends. And then when Lori actually decided to move to Houston, Tylee went there. And then I think Tylee came back on her own and drove from freaking Texas to Arizona, which is like 18 hours by herself. I mean, she kind of had a very, like, she was almost by herself in a lot of those times.
Not exactly, no.
Okay. And is it possible that Lori and Tylee, the entire time from the 1st of February till the better part of the first plus week of April, were both living in Hawaii together?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustain.
And would it be safe to say, based on your experience and understanding and close connection with your brother, that Lori Vallow from the 1st of February well into April had little or no contact with JJ during that time?
No contact.
Okay. And then in April, when I think it was you said April, she started showing up again around April in Houston?
Mid-April.
Okay, mid-April. And then during that time, continued to have very little contact with JJ as well, correct?
No, she moved into the damn house, so that'd be hard to have little contact.
I don't know how much contact she had with him after that point.
JJ continued to stay with Charles during that point for at least a little while?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that on or around the 16th of April of 2019, Charles changed his beneficiary back to Lori Vallow?
I knew that, yes. I mean, no, I didn't know at the time, but I've learned later.
So you know now. I don't need to show you the documents. You're aware that on the 16th of April, Charles Vallow placed back Lori Vallow as the beneficiary of his life insurance, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, I know he had changed it, and
Right.
I assume it was to her.
And then would you tell me when he changed it back to you, to your knowledge?
I don't know. There was issue with the insurance company regarding that,
Okay.
and that's all I know.
So issue was the insurance company. But in essence, one way or the other, you were able to receive a beneficiary check as a result of Charles being murdered by Lori and Alex, right?
Now, I don't know if they were the only two involved in this murder, but yes.
Yeah, don't say some stupid
But you
shit.
did get a
like that.
beneficiary check.
Yes.
Okay.
So stupid. We know it's Chad.
You talked a little bit about this Amazon search, and you talked about wedding rings, wedding dresses, bathing suits, and large beach clothes for men, right?
Yes.
Some water.
I got it.
Okay. Those specific searches took place when?
November 8th of 19.
Is that the date you looked it up, or is that the date those searches actually took place?
That's the date I looked it up.
Okay, so you don't know when those searches took place, right?
If you go into the browsing history in Amazon, you can tell exactly when they were, when it happened,
Okay,
when the search
So
happened.
do you have any recollection of when she started looking for those searches of those items?
October 2nd, she said it.
She may have done it before October 2nd, but I don't know. But I only know that I saw that
Okay.
browsing history that day.
So if,
On November 8th, I saw she was searching for items October the 2nd, a wedding dress and rings.
and it's
Wedding
interesting,
rings.
I'm sorry. And it's interesting to note that you made the point of emphasizing that the search was done by Lori Vallow, correct?
Yes,
And Chad Daybell didn't have any access to Lori Vallow's account, right?
I have no idea.
Right. And you don't have an idea whether or not Chad Daybell even had knowledge that Lori Vallow was planning to purchase these items, do you?
Say that again, please.
Well, you don't have any specific knowledge that suggests that Chad Daybell was involved in helping her purchase these items, do you?
Actually, I guess not, because it was on Charles's credit card.
Right.
She was
And-
buying new wedding stuff
Right.
on
And-
his credit card.
And there are only two people that had access to Charles's credit information. That would be you, correct?
Yes.
And Lori Vallow, correct?
I don't know who Lori may have shared her financial information with. I have no idea.
Right. But you also don't know that, but you do know that she had access to his credit cards because she made these purchases, or at least looked at maybe making these purchases, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Stupid as hell. Well, he was actually pretty soft with her. I mean, good thing, but
Redirect.
I'm sorry. I got it right here.
So you were asked about Charles potentially changing a life insurance policy back to Lori.
Yes.
But after his death, it was determined that you were the beneficiary, correct?
Yes.
And just for clarity on the Amazon search that you witnessed, you saw that. What day did you see that?
The Amazon search, the
Yes.
Amazon browsing history.
Yes.
I saw it October 2nd.
Well, okay, is that the date the search was performed?
No, yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Let me back up here. Yes, I saw it on November the 8th, that on October the 2nd, the browsing history showed malachite wedding rings, beach wedding dress, men's linen clothes, or whatever, men's clothes.
All right. That's all I have here.
All right.
all right, guys.
That will-
So that was Kay Woodcock's. I'm really glad Pryor did not go at her. Obviously, we know he's obsessed with Melanie Gibb, which is weird. We are going to be watching Heather Daybell's testimony tomorrow. I don't think I've ever heard her really speak about any of this stuff. I don't know if I've ever even listened to an interview or anything like that from her. So it'll be interesting to get her take. She was also the one by Chad himself who started all these horrible rumors about him on their side of the family, and that she's after him and she must be something bad that he had told Melanie Gibb in front of Lori as well. So tomorrow we'll get to that. We might have a live on Saturday, and if we do, I'll let you know. That live is something that needs to we'll get to it. I'll let you know if we're going to do it on Saturday, and that will have something to do with a conversation that needs to be had. So other than that, love you guys. See you soon. See you tomorrow. Thank you guys for being here. Have a great rest of your day. And do not forget, if you have not, to enter the giveaway. Love you guys.